You feel good back in that thing?
Jump in this thing and see what it'll do.
Ready to rock this, bro?
Alright, welcome back, guys. It has been a couple weeks now since I've, well, got this car. And in those couple weeks, I've just been trying to track down parts. Parts for a 71 RT Charger are not exactly just on every shelf at AutoZone, O'Reilly's, or whatever. They're kind of hard to come by nowadays. And so I'm just sitting there scrolling on Marketplace and going through forums and eBay, just trying to find the stuff I need for this car because it's missing all the emblems. They were all stolen off of it. The trunklet emblems, stolen. And then it had Camaro green seats in it. So that was hideous. You guys saw that. And if you have not seen the first part of this car, go back and watch that first episode, because that's actually where we found the car from Nolan, sitting in his driveway for 20 years. The second owner that's owned it since 1977 from Nellis Air Force Base. So then I'm sitting there scrolling on Marketplace trying to find stuff. I'm typing in 1971 Charger, trying to find pieces and parts I can use for this car. And I come across an ad. Of course, I couldn't afford it, but it was a really cool 71 Super Bee, 6-pack, Hemi orange, white interior, just a really cool car, bitchin' looking. And so I just messaged the guy and I was like, dude, that's a really cool car. And then we just kind of struck a conversation, and I could see in the background he had other 71 stuff. You know, he had another 71 RT Charger in the background. And so I just messaged him, hey, you wouldn't happen to have a Go Wing and chin spoiler for a 71 Charger, do you? Because I want to put an original chin spoiler and Go Wing on this car. It'll really make it pop. And, you know, he was like, well, actually, yeah. As a matter of fact, I do. I have like 2 sets. And I'm like, sweet. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, well, do you have emblems? Yeah. Well, do you have a passenger door glass? Yeah. Do you have, this was a real long shot, but I was like, you wouldn't happen to have a set of green 71 Charger bucket seats, do you? And he's like, yeah, I do. And so I present to you Peter, all the way from, let's just say, Mojave, California area.
Right.
Peter just made the GoPro malfunction, so we had to put another SD card in it to continue this. What the hell, Peter?
I broke the camera.
You broke the camera, right.
Sorry about that.
So these are in fact 1971 Dodge Charger seats, right?
They are from a 71 Charger RT.
Yeah, so you were parting it out?
Yeah, just so you can get the missing parts for your
But
car.
these were not the original seats of the car you were parting out?
No.
No, yeah, so...
From another RT. Yeah.
How do we know you're not the one that took the seats out of that car in 1975?
Don't tell anyone.
So you never even popped this off to see if there's a build sheet back here?
Yeah, it may very well still be in
there. Might be a build sheet.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, by some miracle, these might be the original seats of this car. Seriously unlikely, but I can hope, right?
We'll
And so
find
then,
out soon.
and you brought me a replacement glass. So
Correct.
there's a glass in there.
Yes,
So
yeah.
now we can fix that busted window. And these are my goodies, right? These are the Go Wing and the chin spoiler, so
From
we
the
can
rear
make it.
spoilers.
Yeah, that'll make it all speedy looking.
Right.
And then you brought me emblems.
I got emblems for you.
Sweet.
RTs.
So these were glue-ons, in fact.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because all the repops you find, they want you to drill and pin them.
Got the 440
Ooh, we got the
Magnum.
440 Mag. This is the hood emblem. Both of them. Sweet. And so,
10
and because my hood is an NOS hood, like Nolan bought that hood new from the dealership, you know, it doesn't have the holes for the emblem, so we're gonna have to drill these holes and put these emblems on there?
This one for the trunk lid.
Oh yeah, the trunk lid emblem.
And there's a couple extra ones for good measure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so these were in fact all, yep, there's the adhesive, yeah.
All glued on.
Yeah, so these are all the same size, right?
Yes.
So yeah, these
And
will actually...
They are smaller than 68, 70. 71 is...
Yeah, because these are 71 only, right?
Right, yeah, correct.
But yeah, so these in fact will go... You can see where that used to be. So now we can put that guy back on there, and we can put that guy back there. And then we can put our fender emblems back on. We can put our hood emblems back on and get this car all speedy looking and cool looking with the RT badging and the go wing and the chin spoiler. It's gonna be, and with Kragers on this thing, fatty Kragers, this thing's gonna be all like,
That'll be awesome.
oh yeah, like 70s, like day 2 performance 71 RT Charger. So here's my speedy go fast looking parts. I got the go wing and the chin spoiler. These are off of what, another 71 Charger? Or?
Factory Hemi Charger RT export car.
So a Hemi RT export car, huh?
Right, right.
Looks like they're painted blue.
Yeah, they wanted it looking different.
What color was the car? Blue?
Orange.
It was orange with
the blue spoiler.
orange with
Right.
blue spoiler.
Right.
That's stylish.
Definitely.
Ooh.
It's like brand new.
Yeah, like brand new glass.
Yeah.
Check it out. That looks way better than the one that's in our car. All right, Peter, let's see if you were the one that robbed the seats out of my car.
I hope not.
Well, it's all, actually, I think you might be safe because you said you didn't come to the States until what, the 80s?
1987.
Okay, you're safe by 10 years
All right.
because this car was had the seats pillaged out of it before 1977. So
I'm not a suspect.
you know you're not a suspect. Oh, there's nothing in that one. Okay, let's check the other one. Nope, you're safe. Getting a little bit of a late start on this thing, but I figure it'll give me a little bit of a head start tomorrow when we're really gung-ho on this car. Nolan, the second owner of this car since 1977, will be here tomorrow to throw his hands on this car that he hasn't really had running in decades. So we're gonna go ahead and drain the oil real quick and put the new oil in it, in which I have flat tappet safe oil, Lucas oil. I've never had an issue on flat tappet cams ever since I started running that oil. So I always stick with it. You find something that works and you stick with it. And then we're gonna go ahead and get a head start on getting this Mallory dual point distributor out of here. At least I think it's a dual point. Won't know until we actually get it out. And the reason for getting that thing out is with new oil in it, new filter, and the distributor out of the engine, I can then in the morning prime this engine. Because if this thing builds oil pressure, I know that I hope that we're going to have an easy time firing this engine up. And while the distributor's out, I'll go ahead and throw my trickeries at it so it has more low-end grunt and runs better for the daily driver that this thing is gonna hopefully be. All right, time to drain the 30-year-old oil out of this thing. All right, no water, no bad things, just dirty oil. Ooh, that smells like turpentine. You know, there's a lot of gas in that oil, but at least it's not water. Changing oil on Mopars sucks. Big block Mopars. On B bodies, the oil filter is right above the K-frame. You crack that oil filter, it just oozes oil everywhere unless you have the car at like an extreme angle like this. So I just take one of my oil cartons, cut it in the shape of a tray, stick it under that there oil filter, and then I can crack that oil filter loose, spin it, and it'll all just run out of there. Ingenious, I know. Not a drop on the K-frame. Now, I'd already pressure washed this entire engine bay like twice, but you still want to make sure and blow out around the distributor because you don't want any dirt, debris, bugs, rat poop, skeletons, whatever, falling inside the engine. So, one final time. So, cracking the seal on this distributor. Since Nolan put it in here 48 years ago, 1977. Yeah, if you didn't watch the first episode, this car had a bunch of stuff stolen off of it when it sat at the Nellis Air Force Base. And the distributor was one of those. So Nolan, being the performance guy he is, went through the catalog and got a Mallory dual point racing performance distributor and stuck it in here since the original had been stolen off the car. Come with me. Oh, there's no vacuum advance on this. We're gonna have to change that. Blue skies today. Nolan's on his way here right now, so we can start diving into the 71 RT Charger that he had bought since 1977, owned since 1977. I pulled the distributor. I just finished pulling the plug wires. These things are actually in really good shape, but I have new ones. Before I even attempt to rotate this engine over, I'm going to pull all the plugs. I'm going to spray some lubricant in there, just in case. I mean, these rings have probably not moved in 20 years. So we're going to spray some lube in there to prevent the piston rings scarring the cylinders, just in case they're dry. The plugs is the tattletale. That'll tell me everything I need to know about the condition of the engine. Is it burning oil? Was it running rich? Was it running lean? You know, was there any debris inside the engine? The plugs is the tattletale. So let's go ahead and see if this thing has any bad things to tell me. Hopefully not.
That today?
Well, yeah. We're going to try and get this thing to run today.
Oh, okay.
Nolan is here, the second owner of this car. He wanted to come over and see this thing breathe fire again and hopefully spin some more tire. First thing we're going to do is pull the plug wires, but I got a couple questions for Nolan. So when I pulled the distributor and I pulled the plug wires, and I was actually really kind of examining everything because I was first diving into it, I noticed when I pulled the distributor and I stuck a flashlight down in there, it was at night, these cars would have come with a death sentence. They had a timing chain that had nylon teeth on it. It was an aluminum timing gear with nylon teeth on it, and the whole purpose for that was to kind of dampen, quiet down the valve train. But over the years, those nylon teeth got brittle, the timing chain skipped teeth, and it sometimes bent valves, depending if it was a compression motor or not. And when I looked down in there, someone had replaced it with a double roller chain. Did you do that?
Yeah, I had a friend do that for me.
Okay, so you actually had that replaced. Yeah. So you've had the whole front of this engine apart. You've had the heads off of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we replaced, and I also saw, you know, your wiring here is not original. They didn't heat shrink wires, and you know, this is not the correct color coding of all this. So I'm assuming you've had to do some electrical work to the engine harness, because I see it looks like it's a homemade harness all the way around the motor to the bulkhead.
Yeah, the engine had caught fire and it burnt the wiring harness and everything. And so I had made a cable for it.
Okay, so you made a new harness for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and being it's a 1971, the engine harness had a total of 7 or 8 wires. So you're like, why go buy one? I can just make one real quick. And you did electrical work.
Yeah.
You were,
it's all soldered, all heat shrink.
Yeah. So what's the warranty on the wiring job?
No, to the next owner.
When's the last time this thing even cranked? Do you know?
Oh, probably 87.
87 is the last time this engine probably cranked?
Yeah.
I was 2 years old. I didn't. So this thing actually, wow, this thing hasn't run since 87.
I saved it for your birthday.
Yeah, I was thinking this thing didn't run since like the early 2000s, but you just had to register it for probably storage at the apartment. So I'm 40 years old now, and I was born in 85. So if this thing hasn't run since 87, this thing has not run in 38 years. We need to make this thing happen. Do you want to pull the carburetor off that you put on?
Okay.
Cool.
What are you gonna put on it?
Carburetor wise?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the carburetor back on that you put on. I think it's kind of cool that we're gonna keep the carburetor that you bought for this thing.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna rebuild it and put it back on.
Oh, okay.
You know, and this is a 780, so that's gonna work great. The only thing I might do is put a phenolic spacer under here.
Yeah.
To help with taking heat away from the carburetor.
Yeah.
Because there's also a crossover in here that transfers heat, that heats up the intake manifold.
And it was blocked off.
Oh, you did block that off.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So that's less heat to the intake manifold. Well, yeah, I'll get you set up with the tools. Nolan, you see what I have here?
Yeah, unusual.
Yeah, these are all the hard to find, not reproduced 71 RT emblems. Some of them are reproduced. The hood emblems are reproduced, but not the RT badges. So that is pretty cool. Got these from Peter, the guy that was here yesterday. And so I was going to question Nolan on this. I thought maybe Nolan was the one that put the Camaro seats in it, but in fact, those seats were in it when you got it, right?
Oh yeah.
So then I
wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, Peter had brought me 71 RT seats, which there's no difference between RT and standard, but they are correct. 71 green bucket seats. And then I also showed Nolan the cool chin spoiler and the wing that we're going to put on his car to make it pop more. What do you think? Have you ever seen one with the wing and the chin spoiler on it? No?
I've only seen the chin spoiler in magazines, never the rear part.
So you said when you were driving this car around in Vegas back in the late 70s and early 80s, you've only seen one other 71 RT?
Yep.
What color was it?
I think it was kind of a beige.
Beige color? But out in the wild, he's only seen one other 71 RT. Maybe he had your hood and insert on his car. All right, here's the tattletale. We're going to pull a spark plug and see how well you had your carburetor tuned.
It went out. Oh, I did vacuum tune to it, but that's about it.
Yeah?
It still had the original parts. Okay,
So
box.
you never changed the jetting or nothing?
Uh-uh.
Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, so you were running a little rich, but not terrible. See?
Yeah.
So you were probably running about 2-3 jet sizes too rich.
Probably.
And probably had the idle just a tick rich.
Yeah.
But that's actually pretty good. And see, there's like hardly any oil buildup on that. So the engine should be in good shape. Hopefully the other 7 look as good as this one.
Yeah, I hope so too.
See, on these big block Mopars, especially on the 440s, it's just much easier to change the plugs from underneath the car on the passenger side.
Yeah.
Because there's not a whole lot of room between the inner fender and the exhaust manifold. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting all these plugs out. Nolan's working on the carburetor right now. And then we're gonna get to cranking this motor over. Hopefully the starter works. I bought a battery for it. I mean, you didn't hot rod it that much?
Nope, not me.
You didn't blow the cobwebs out of it?
Nope. I was sensitive. It was an old car, and if I blew the engine, what the fuck, you know?
Oh yeah.
Then what do you got?
So, I don't know Las Vegas in 1978, 9, 80. Where would you cruise it at back then?
Probably Las Vegas Boulevard.
Oh, up and down the strip?
Yeah,
or
Rainbow didn't exist.
Rainbow didn't exist back then? Oh, wow. All right, Nolan, so far, your engine diagnosis is looking pretty good. All your spark plugs show no signs of oil burning. You got the carburetor off. Looks like a little bit of old gas had trickled down in there and kind of like turpentined. But other than that, I think we're in good shape. So now that we've got all the plugs out, I can go ahead and spray some lubrication down in the cylinders. Turn it over. I don't want to scar your piston rings. Make sure we got some lube in there. Next. All right, all the cylinders are lubed up. Now we're gonna pull the oil pump drive gear so I can stick my long primer down in there and get this thing primed up. Wow, this thing actually came out really easy. Sometimes they have burrs on them. So you've probably seen this inside your motor before. Oh wait, come on, there it goes. Oh, that's in good shape.
No, I never did anything to it.
You see, this is part of the reason why we want to prime it, because see the rust that's built up around that?
Mm-hmm.
There's a journal right there. Mm-hmm. So at least now that we're priming it, it'll, you know, at least lubricate that spot. And most of that's probably just surface where it'll just go away. Yeah, it is. But for the areas that we can't just knock the rust off, at least priming the engine will help lubricate it, because it's been sitting for 38 years. You think you're going to have oil pressure, Nolan?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, let's see if you're going to have any oil pressure. So it's got new oil in it. It's got new filter. Well, there's no battery in it, so there's no...
Okay.
I'll know if it has oil pressure just by the resistance against the drill.
Oh, okay.
As soon as you'll hear it spin, like bzzz, as soon as you hear resistance on the drill, that's when you got oil pressure. Hear it? Yep. So now that we know we have oil pressure, I think we'll stick a battery in it and see if we can get it start bumping over, because we'll bump it, prime it, bump it, prime it, bump it, prime it, so that way oil can get distributed up to the rockers. So are you excited to get to see your old car try and breathe fire again?
Yeah. Very much so. How long have you been making videos?
Huh?
How long have you been making videos?
All right, Nolan, before I hook the negative cable up, are we going to see any smoke?
Nope.
When's the last time this thing had a battery in it?
A long time ago.
A long time ago, so here we go. No sparks. All right, Nolan, I'm going to hand you your keys back. You want to stick the key in the ignition and turn it on, see if any smoke happens or sparks, or...
Okay.
I wonder if your fuel pump will turn on. I seriously doubt it. Because he has an electric fuel pump. Ooh, it bumped. I heard it do something. All right. So, what we'll do is since you just bumped it, I'll prime it and then bump it again. We'll prime, bump, prime, bump, prime. Because what happens is as the cam rotates, there's orifices that will line up to each rocker shaft. So we're going to try and get oil up into the top end of the motor. Bump. Bump. Yes, I'm really glad Nolan replaced the ticking time bomb nylon timing chain, because that's just one less thing I have to worry about. That. Good job, Nolan. Okay, so before I stab the distributor back in, I want to get the distributor aimed at number 1, and without pulling the valve cover or anything like that, the quickest way to make sure you're on compression on number 1, just go ahead and stick your finger in the spark plug hole and then bump it. As soon as you feel that compression, that means you're on the compression stroke of number 1 and you're within the realm of top dead center. See? Hear that? So now I know I'm really close to top dead center. I'll just grab a screwdriver, stick it in there, and see how far down the hole it is. All right, all the plugs are now in it. Let's see if the engine sounds like all cylinders have compression. So we want to hear a da-da-da-da-da-da-da, not a da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So here we go. All right, so we might have one cylinder that's a little weak, but I bet you when we fire it up for that first time, it'll kick over. But also, I wasn't wanting to, but I'm thinking your starter is actually kind of weak. That's a brand new battery, and look how slow.
It's original.
Yeah. Dang it. Now we're going to have to replace the starter, because I seriously doubt that starter is going to start this thing. So we struck out on a starter. It won't be here till tomorrow morning. But we do have some full bellies, and while we were sitting there eating, my thought on this not being the original gear might be true, because Nolan, you said the speedometer is always off a little, right?
Yeah.
And if someone had changed the rear gear, that will make the speedometer off. So this most likely was not a 323 car. It was probably either a 276 car or a 355 axle package car. But none of that will be known because we don't have the fender tag or the build sheet. All right, well, now that we cannot replace the starter, we can at least remove it. I have a new water pump because I know as soon as we fire this thing up or even put coolant in it, it's going to start weeping out the weep hole. And then while we're there, we can go ahead and replace, well, I was gonna say replace, but we can put a fuel pump in it because this car had been converted to electric fuel pump even before you had it.
Yeah.
They put a yeah, it's like a Holly red pump, I think. So we're gonna go ahead and go back to mechanical, pull the starter, and actually, you can start working on the distributor too. Start making things happen under here. Just think, Nolan, all this free labor I'm getting out of you. Oh boy, you really torqued those things on there.
Not me.
So how long would you say it's been since this tire has come off here?
You can look at the information on the tire to tell you how old the tire is.
Oh, you've never taken it off?
Nope.
Oh wow, so there's gonna be a date on it somewhere.
Maybe if it's, could be before they started dating them.
Oh yeah. Getting old's a bitch, huh?
Yeah.
Tell you what, I can feel it every year myself. But now that Nolan's got all the screws out of that, see, now we can just lay that sucker forward. Now we have full access to the water pump and the fan. I'm so used to working on these things when there's just rust everywhere and needing a torch to take all the bolts apart. This car, I haven't had to use the torch once.
Yeah.
Well, no Black Widows came running out of it. That's good. Been in there many years.
I did. Just need a little help.
All right, one step down. Anytime I'm working on an old car, you know, I'm like, I wonder when the last time this part was touched or when that part was touched. Now I have those answers since you're here, Nolan. Yeah. Belt tensioner, which, assuming this belt's probably going to need to be replaced since it's still holding this shape I took it off of. Nice green coolant coming out of it. So it wasn't leaking yet, but how much longer until it would have? That's probably the good rat poison antifreeze there. Yeah, it's probably a good thing we're pulling that out.
Wow.
Yep. Here's your first racing part, Nolan. Aluminum water pump.
Wow.
I didn't realize this was aluminum. I thought I was just ordering a standard steel one. Cool. Watch, this one leaks and the original one didn't. Some detective work on why the underside of this car looks so grimy and greasy and gunked with dirt is there's one bolt missing on the timing cover, and then the one above that one is loose. So who knows? I bet you the rest of them are loose too. Luckily, I have bins with just all original Mopar hardware, so it still has all the crosshairs like it would have from the factory. Tighten this thing up and maybe the oil consumption will go down. Just admiring your finned fuel pump block-off plate. Have to hold on to that. That's pretty spiffy there. You said it was on there when you bought it?
Yep.
Holy crap. Yeah, you definitely need a bolt that long for a 1/4 inch plate. Well, I don't want to scuff your plate right here because it's pretty spiffy looking. Ooh, that just fell off a hill. I didn't even need to hit that. Is there a fuel pump rod in there? Yes, there is. All right. No, and I bet you didn't even know you had a cool Cal Customs rare speed part.
That's almost car jewelry.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, car jewelry. Cool vintage car jewelry from Cal Customs. Sweet. I'm going to have to hold on to that for sure. All the vintage stuff is so much cooler than the modern billet. This is so much cooler. Well, that fuel pump rod's been in that stuck down position for so long, there's probably got a bunch of gunk and buildup around it, so I'm gonna have to pull the plug and then use a screwdriver to force it back up into its hole, or at least farther in the hole. Gotta get it pushed in. Yep, it's stuck all the way in the down position. Let's see if we can't push her. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do that on top. Get up in there. Sweet. Carter fuel pump, going to replace the old school Holley electric. Now granted, this is only like a 40 gallon per hour, but seeing how this is a stock 440 and probably won't buzz this one real hard because I don't want to break it, this will be plenty. All right, see if we can get this guy shoved up in there.
Enough light?
Oh yeah. Fuel pump is on. We have a new water pump. All that is set tight, glued, and bolted back together. Even the missing hardware was replaced. We're gonna go ahead and put our mechanical flex fan back on, put the shroud back on, and start working on things like distributor and wait for the starter to show up tomorrow. And I can probably even go ahead and get the carburetor torn apart tonight, so when the kit shows up tomorrow, I can put it all back together. So I'm thinking this old 71 RT Charger will be running by tomorrow. May not be driving, it might, I don't know. Still got to replace the master cylinder and go through all the brakes and hoses, but what do you think of so far, getting to be able to work on your old car again?
Nice.
Yeah.
A lot more than I would have done. Or even know how to do.
All right, Nolan, apply exactly 37 foot-pounds, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Not 38. We're tightening the water pump pulley right now. Well, the water pump tensioner pulley. Okay. Do we have the proper...
Seem right?
That might have been 34 foot-pounds, but I think it'll work.
Okay.
It's coming up on the end of the day for Nolan, but he was just talking about the hideaway headlights at night. You know, you can remember you flip the switch and clunk clunk, you hear the click of the headlight doors going up and down, and they worked when you parked it, right? You think they still work now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, see all of that positive waves. See what happens here. Ignition on. Headlights.
It didn't go up. Headlights came on.
No, didn't go up. Maybe it just needs a little assistance. Nope. I think I hear your fuel pump actually trying to do something. It is. Holy crap, your electric fuel pump is working.
I would sell you a piece of that.
Hey, the taillights work.
Well, they kind of work.
How is it that a freaking 50-year-old fuel pump can work, but a modern one won't last 6 months? Your motor might actually be good. We're just not getting any power. So I'm betting that it has to do with the switch or the relay in there. So the motor's probably fine. But let's not take away the fact that all 4 of your headlights are working. Your tail lights are working. Your side marker light is working. Is that side marker light up here working?
This one's not.
Oh, okay. So it might just need a bulb, or it might even just be bad contact. It could just be the contact's
This
bad.
one's not either.
Yeah, because these are just grounded to the fender, so it could just be over the years, corrosion, bad contact, whatever. But so our headlight motor doesn't work, but it's not the motor. It's just most likely the relays. Probably just have bad contacts, and I'll have to find that whole setup in here. I know where they're at on 70 chargers. 71s, I don't know where it's at. So I'll have to do some digging. Yeah, so I seriously doubt the horn works because the steering wheel's bad, but we'll see. Hook it up, see if it works.
It's got two horns?
Yeah, they're high and low. So the one of the horns actually works.
And the fixing connected.
Too bad that steering wheel. That's actually probably why the horn is like constantly on, is because all those contacts are just touching because it's all bad. Yeah, so if we just fix the steering wheel, look, both the low and high horn work. I can't, you know what, actually I can't think of, no, I don't think I've actually had another charger where the horns worked. All right, so luckily the Mallory dual point distributor, dual point, which means instead of having a single point, it has a second set of points. That's to ensure that the coil gets hit nice and hard. And so it has dual action on it. Bonus, so this distributor actually has limiters on it. It has centrifugal weight limiters, which limits how much centrifugal advance gets worked into the distributor. I don't have to take the whole thing apart. Bonus. I thought I was going to take the whole thing apart and weld up some of the advance, but luckily I don't have to do that. So what happens is, so we'll look at this right here. So right now I have it fully limited out, and that is like the most advance I can get out of it right now. So at RPM, it'll go from idle to full. So I would have to have, say, 25, 26 degrees of initial timing in it, just so I'll end up with my, say, 32. Right now, this thing probably only has like 7 degrees of advance in it. But if I listen, and that's the gap right there. I just kind of guesstimated. So bam, 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 that gap right there. Now, let me limit my adjuster, or undo my limiter in there, and so now watch how far it'll go. Bam, to all the way over there. So see how much farther it goes now? That is about little over double, almost triple that amount of throw there. So I'm gonna find like a happy median and get it to where it's about in between both of those and lock her down, so that way I'm roughly about 20 degrees initial, maybe 22, and then it'll have 32 out the back door. I wish I had one of those old distributor machines so I can really dial these things in. Well, this guy is ready to plot back in. Got my points set, cleaned the points a little bit, just the contacts with some sandpaper. One was at about 15 thousandths and the other one was at 22, which is what it's supposed to be, 22, 24. So I went ahead and set them both at 22. Now I go ahead and set this guy back in the car. I can reuse my 50-year-old Mallory cap. I just went in there and cleaned up the contacts. Good as new. Do that with your coil-on plug fuel-injected garbage. You're gonna be stuck on the side of the road. Well, I'm back on the highway. Well, this Holly is locked up. That thing will not move. So you know that's old gas that has done glued the shafts to the base plate. So we're gonna try and brake clean that out, free it all up, so we can even attempt to try and rebuild this carburetor. Supposedly, this carburetor had not run or had gas run through it since 1987. I was 2 years old. I didn't even know what gas was. Upon taking this carburetor apart, it was pretty wasted. I've got stuff soaking in the sonic cleaner right now, and hopefully it will come up much nicer than when it went in, because it's obviously had fuel in there since 1987. So it's pretty freaking dirty. Hopefully this comes out nicer. I mean, look at the power valve and the accelerator pump that came out of this thing. Garbage. It is the next day. It's been a pretty boring day for me. And actually, Nolan has just been sitting watching me for probably an hour and a half as we have been restoring his carburetor. I wouldn't say restoring, but completely tearing apart, sonic cleaning, and making it to where all the orifices are clean, and it will be a functional carburetor. Look, the throttle shafts move, the choke does things, the vacuum secondary does things. So we're gonna get that bolted back on. I'm going to put the starter on. Since you took the carburetor off, you can put the carburetor back on, right?
What about this shroud?
Oh, yeah, we got to bolt the shroud on. And we're going to, I think, steal the filter that goes right here off of the van, because I don't really trust all the stuff that's inside your block. It was pretty grungy in there when we pulled that water pump off, even though it had bright green coolant in it, which, thank you for that, because most guys will just put water in it, and then the blocks are garbage. Nolan, did you know that you can take the high torque mini starter from like a mid-90s Dodge Ram and it'll bolt right to your big block? This is a much better starter, and it's way lighter.
Yeah.
And it is only like 85 bucks.
Wow.
Yeah. So mid-90s Dodge Ram or Dakota high torque mini starter will bolt right to your big block. Cheap. Instead of paying like $300 for a fancy brand name mini starter, this does the same thing. And I've got them on 11.5-to-1 motors that have been on there for 20-something thousand miles. How do you like the kid mat?
It's nice.
Nice and cushy, right?
Yeah.
Like a glove. All right, Nolan, you can go ahead and bolt your old carburetor on. Here, I'll set it down for you. Bolt that sucker down. And we're getting closer to making vroom vroom noises with it again. Alright, so Nolan's got his old carburetor bolted up, the old 780 vacuum secondary Holley carburetor. This was his day 2 option. Actually, yeah, this technically would be day 2 because you bought it one day, next day you had to buy a carburetor for it because it was missing.
Yeah.
So day 2. He was missing the stud here, which is the factory stud, and this is an adapter bracket that bolts to a Holley, but this stud here allows you to bolt your cable, throttle cable, and your kick down. So this has to be on a slide like that. And how you want to adjust it is you go full throttle and you pull the kick down all the way back and then tighten it up right there, so that way you're not overextending anything. And when you hammer down, like hopefully Nolan's going to experience, everything will shit and get and squeal tire and go. All right, Nolan, when I tell you, go ahead and tighten that up. Not yet, not yet. Yeah, so we're gonna go full throttle. I'll pull that back. All right, go ahead, tighten it up.
It's tight.
All right, let go. Let's kick it all back. So now, when this gets, there's supposed to be a spring on here too, so we'll put the spring on there that actually pulls it back. But now, when we go full throttle, boom, see how that works the kick down like that?
Yeah.
So now there's another spring that goes from here forward that pulls this forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But all gooder. What do you think of my future race hauler?
It's nice. What's it, 318?
360.
Wow.
Yeah. So Nolan's gonna steal the upper radiator hose filter we got on this thing so we can then put it on his old 71 Charger. I don't want to clog my radiator. You know, if these radiator hoses are 1987 or older, these are actually really good. These must be made in USA.
Well, they might be original for all I know.
No, I don't think they're original, because if you look, it's got regular hose clamps on it. Originals would have had those spring clamps.
Nice fit.
So I've been leery about opening the passenger side door just because this window was shattered. You said it was this 4th of July that window got shattered?
Several years ago.
Oh, was it?
July, yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're going to Gorilla Tape the crap out of it. So hopefully we can open the door and remove that glass, because I have a brand new one for it. So I'll leave you with that task.
Okay, good.
It was in your possession when it got broke.
Okay, yeah.
All right, the new starter is in. You want to see how much faster the motor could potentially spin?
Yeah.
Hopefully. That's much better.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably 3 times faster than the old starter was doing, but it feels like it kind of has a dead spot. But that could just be it's been sitting forever. Maybe it's got a few sticky valves. I'm hoping when it starts to fire up and oil gets circulated and gets new gas through it, that everything will kind of... I think it'll be all right. It's spark plug wire time. Now I can go ahead and start getting these guys all squared away. And hopefully this thing will be running sooner than later. I think the only thing I really need to do to make it run after plug wires is make a new hard line. Uh-oh.
Well, fell out was one piece.
Well, yeah, vacuum will get it. The window just fell out. Didn't cut you, did it? Just in time, huh?
Huh?
So just in time, huh? We got that window all taped up.
Yeah.
All right, back to plug wire routing now that the window had done falled out. So I need to go from shortest to longest. Obviously the distributor is right here, so all the shorter wires are going to be here. Then they're going to loop over to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this squared away, and then we're going to jump on the fuel line. All right, Nolan, I got your key on. Let's see if your old wiring is still good for your ignition. So we'll go ahead and pull this coil wire off. There we go. That's positive. All right, now we'll crank it and see if we got spark. No sparky. Let's see if we're getting power to the coil. So we know the ballast is doing its job. We know that's working. Why don't you go ahead and pull the trigger on that? I'm going to go ahead and take power away from this, and we're going to see if the distributor is actually doing what it's supposed to. So what the points do is it actually grounds the circuit to the coil. So we have this hooked to power. So if I hook it to the distributor, and Nolan, you go ahead and hit the trigger, this thing should be flashing. It's not a consistent flash. All right, go ahead and hit it, Nolan. Now we're getting a consistent. Yep. So that's what it was, is the capacitor was bad. Geniusness figured it out. Spark now. I don't know. Hours later, I fixed it. I figured out the problem. The problems, plural. So what was happening is Nolan unknowingly, when he got the instruction manual for that Excel coil, it was to put a ballast resistor in line with it. And it came with the ballast resistor. What he didn't realize is the car already had a ballast resistor on the firewall right there. So what had happened is the car was getting double ballasted down to the coil. So the voltage going to the coil was way less than it should be. Also, this is the original ballast resistor that was on the firewall. The one that is on the firewall now is only the 0.8 ohms less resistance ballast resistor that is to go with the Excel coil. This thing here that was on the firewall was almost cutting the voltage in half. So this thing is deteriorated or something. I'm not an electrical guru, but I know that something, it's not supposed to cut the voltage in half, and this one was doing that. That was one of the problems. Problem two, our capacitor on the distributor was junk. Now I was able to remove it and get spark to test it, but it was pretty weak. So I went and found another capacitor, put that on there, fixed it. Problem three. So this wire here was just dangling. It didn't do anything. It was just dangling down. Nolan had hot wired another wire to the ballast resistor, so it was going power in, power out was going right to the coil. But the problem is this was supposed to be the wire that did that. If you notice, there's two wires there. This brown wire is a bypass wire. This wire bypasses the ballast resistor, and only during cranking this wire is hot, and it sends the full 12 voltage to the terminal, which then comes back out and goes to the coil. So during cranking, that wire bypasses the ballast resistor, so the coil gets the full voltage, because when you're starting the engine, there's a lot of voltage drop as is, because the starter motor is cranking the engine. So that's why that is there. That's why that is supposed to be there. I found where he had spliced it in, cut that out. That is all fixed. Now, when I crank it, it has spark. Not as much as I would really want, but points just don't make the spark that an electronic ignition does. But I will show you, we actually have spark now. But I have spark. Problem solved. Now I can move on. It's a sunny, beautiful day. I believe I have all the ignition figured out on that, but we're not gonna fire it, or at least try to fire it until Nolan gets here. He's not here right now, obviously. And so I figured, you know what, I'll go ahead and tackle some of the brake stuff just to get a head start on that. Go ahead and rip the old master cylinder out, because that's obviously junk. I put fluid in it just for shits and giggles, and there's just nothing there. Pull that out. I have a brand new master cylinder. I have new shoes. I have hardware. I have all the goodies, hopefully, that this car, look, even have hoses. So hopefully I'm not missing anything. Now, being this is not an East Coast salty road car, I'm thinking that we should just have to use a little PV blaster on everything, and everything just come apart. Nice and easy. Unlike the green 70 Charger on the other side of that camera that needed a torch or a cutoff wheel for everything. I wish they were all like this to work on. This is just like butter. Aha! Out! Well, while the master cylinder is depressed, I'll go ahead and lube up my bushing. Lube up the shaft. See, out here on the West Coast, all the brakes become harvesting areas for black widows. So granted, there's nothing in here right now. You can see all the carcasses of the male black widows because the females, they eat them once they're done mating. And so they're all stuck in there. We're gonna go ahead and burn those guys out. But being as how everything in here is in great shape, we're just going to replace the wheel cylinder just in case, because it's 50 years old. And we're going to replace the brake hose because that's over 50 years old. But the shoes, the springs, the hardware, everything is all great. So we're just gonna leave it. Back to burning. Just in case there's one still alive in there. So while I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the brakes, Nolan's in the house, back for day 3 on your old Charger. Now you had taken these off at one point and you painted them what looks like Hemi orange, because this orange kind of matches the orange on the valve covers. I'm assuming you use the same can.
Yeah.
So the RTs, if it was drum brakes, it would have had the heavy duty brake package, which this would have been red, which meant stop. You know, it's got the big performance package. So they painted them bright red so that way, I guess everybody around knew that you had better brakes. I don't know. But so we're gonna go, Nolan's gonna go ahead and scuff this all up, and we're gonna go ahead and bomb it back to like the red, bright red it's supposed to be. While we got daylight, let's see if this thing will run now. All the ignition issues, I think, were fixed. We're in the middle of doing the brakes right now. But I still need to put a gas tank in this car, but the curiosity is getting to me. So we're gonna go ahead and steal the fuel system out of the Demon and put this in the 71 RT. Now we're not gonna actually put solid green coolant in it right now. We're just going to use the good old garden hose and some radiator flush to try and clean out some of the rust buildup and gunk that would initially clog the radiator. So you saw it yesterday, Nolan installed the upper radiator hose filter, which will hopefully save the original radiator. Let's go ahead and get this radiator filled up with our flush, top it off with the garden hose. There you go. See if we can't get this old engine to make fire since it's 1987. While Nolan's finished topping it off, I'll go ahead and put some fuel in the bowls so we don't have to sit here and crank forever. Are you ready to see if your old car still has life in it?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and turn the ignition on. We'll raise the idle just a little bit. So we'll go.
See if those 375 horsepower wake up.
Yeah. Watch it just fire up first hit. Nope. Almost sounded like it was 180 out almost. Further inspections required. Threw some timing in it, see if that will fix it. Nope. Let's try a little bit more. You know what? Let me pull the #1 spark plug and double check to make sure the rotor is aimed at #1. So there's a slight chance that maybe I did a boo-boo and didn't set the distributor right. So I'm gonna bump it until it gets compression. Suction. Okay, that was a good poof. Now, let's see where the rotor is aimed at. If the rotor is aimed at #1, which it's not. See, Nolan, you went and messed up and put the distributor in wrong.
Oh, well. Sometimes it happens.
I'll just blame it on Nolan. See, Derek's not here, so I'll just blame it on you. So not only do you need to rephase the rotor when you're trying to get it set at top dead center on number 1, but also, see there's a tang on the bottom of the distributor, that tang right there? Well, that aligns with a tang that is on the distributor oil pump drive gear. So you'll have to pull that out and reclock that as well, so that way the distributor will slip in place. Otherwise it's going to sit on top of it, and when you tighten the bolt it's just going to cram it all together till it falls in. Well, then the distributor is loose. So 2 phases are required. And how I do it is, okay, obviously distributor, the rotor is going to be aimed at number 1 like that. So then you look at how the tang looks, and then you just have to eyeball, okay, so I need to rotate that about 90 degrees. So it's like in there like this, so I just need to go like that. So go ahead and slip my handy dandy long ass needle nose in there, pull it out, rotate it. Oh, too much, too little, almost. One more. That looks pretty good. So now I should be able to drop this guy in there, and then hopefully the tangs will mate, and this will be aimed at number 1. There we go. See? Now, I screwed up on purpose so that way I can show you guys how to do that correctly. Fire in the hole. You know what I forgot to do? Ready for round 3, Nolan? Mm-hmm. Fire in the hole. Right off the bat, I know we can put more timing in it too. A little bit more. We'll go ahead and raise the idle. This thing hasn't run in forever. And a little pump shot.
It's pretty quiet.
Look at that, it's breathing fire, Nolan. Whoa, original exhaust. Let me hear what it sounds like. That's really quiet, actually. Hey, your oil pressure gauge is working. Check it out. We got all the oil pressures. Yeah. Feel like it's just starting to run better and better and better as it goes. Everything's starting to seat into place. So I shut it off real quick just so we can tighten some hose clamps that were loose. But why don't you go ahead and hit the key, Nolan? You haven't done that in forever. Give a little pump shot. See how well it starts. Go.
It's not.
Oh, it won't start?
No.
What do we do different? Oh, I know what it is. Remember when I disconnected the I had the relay bypass so that way it wouldn't start while I was cranking. Go ahead and do it now.
Okay.
Now it will go. I ruined your moment. All right. So does it sound like it used to, Nolan?
Yeah.
Hey, the water temp gauge works too.
Yeah.
Something got me a little puzzled here.
Remember that's.
I don't know if that's just water from pressure washing, if that was stuck in there, or. But it was like a fountain of bubbly, oily water. So probably need to check the dipstick here in a second. Make sure there's not a bunch of milkshake inside of it. Well, hopefully we don't have a milkshake here. No, don't look like it. Maybe that was just water that was stuck in that little crossover pocket there. Yep, I'm thinking we're fine. You're off the hook, Nolan.
Okay, we can check it again.
Yep. Yeah, new water pump's flowing pretty good. See, when I was first turning this engine over, there was actually some good poofage coming out of the valve cover breather. But now that it's fired up and everything's getting lubricated and the rings are starting to seat in, everything is tightening up. So now there's just nothing coming out of the valve covers. So your engine's coming back to life. Go to town, Nolan.
Light coat.
Yep. Getting our bright red performance package back. Man, possibly brakes and a running engine today?
Yeah, you'll see people race up to the stop lights and.
So upon pulling the master cylinder out of the box, I strictly remember ordering one for power drum brakes, but what shows up? Power disc brakes. Now, I can use it, it's just drums typically have a built-in residual valve that will hold like 10 psi in a line, and what that does is it makes up for the slack in the shoes going out and hitting the drum. So it'll just kind of hold like a tiny bit of line pressure in there. So the only difference between this and the Drum Master is maybe a slight delay when you first hit the brake pedal. We're talking slight, like maybe a 1/4 inch of pedal travel. So not a big deal. Plus, when I upgrade to power disc brakes later, at least I'll already have the correct master cylinder for it. The whole time this car was running before, when Nolan was here, high five and hey, it's running, hooray, we win. Well, it always had a miss, like a slight miss to it, and I'm like, well, in the moment, but it wasn't making any noise. There was no clattering, there was no clunking, there was no ticking. I stuck my ear to the valve train, valve covers, wasn't nothing. So I'm like, well, it could possibly just be the carburetor needs to be tuned, in which I felt I got the carburetor pretty good. The timing was really good, and it still had a miss. After Nolan had gone home, I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead, because we were waiting for it just to get warm so we can flush the radiator. But after he left, I'm like, you know what? Let me just start pulling wires. And so what I did, I'm pulling one wire at a time and listening for it to stumble, or the RPMs to get worse. So I'd pull one, fine, pull one, fine, pull one, fine. They were all doing what they were supposed to do. I pull it, the engine drops RPM and has a miss. Well, then I got to the last one, which was number 1. Pulled it off, RPM didn't change whatsoever. Put it on, off, RPM didn't change whatsoever. So I'm like, okay, something's wrong here. So I pull the plug on this side, and looking at the plug, yep, it's perfectly clean. This cylinder has never fired. Let me just go ahead and pull the valve cover and see what's going on. So then I pull the valve cover and I find this. Yes, the intake was never opening. That's why the hesitation wasn't as bad, is because that intake valve wasn't opening. So the only thing the carburetor was seeing was 7 cylinders. It wasn't 7 cylinders having to make up for, say, an exhaust valve that's open, or an exhaust valve that's open while the intake valve is open. It wasn't having to make up for any of that. And so I got to looking. I'm like, well, okay, obviously there's no push rod there. Where did it go? I see it. It is right there. So I'm assuming when this thing was shut off, okay, when you shut it, it's not like fuel injected cars. When you shut the engine off, anytime that piston's going up and down, and anytime those valves are opening and closing, it's sucking fuel in. So the last time it shut off, fuel had got all over the intake valve, and it was in, let's say, the closed position. Well, when we went to go fire it up for that first time, I'm just all assuming that one valve was probably stuck and push rod bent. Now I just stuck a hammer and tapped on that valve and it freed up. Just the heat had probably freed up the valve, and it appears to be at the same plane, so it's not bent. Plus, when I stuck my finger in the hole and bumped it, it had compression, probably because as a piston was coming down, then I stuck my finger in the hole, and when I bumped it, well, then the piston was coming up, pushing all that air back out because the intake valve was closed. Long story short, we're going to try and pull that push rod out, stick another push rod in it, and see if we in fact have all 8 cylinders now. Well, that is supposed to look like that. So we're going to try and take this, shove it into that, and hopefully get it to run on all 8 cylinders since 1987. It's run on 7 cylinders since 1987, but we need 8. Now, all right, let's make sure all of our valves are doing valvey things. Okay. We have a total of 8 valves doing valvey things on this side. So hopefully it fixes it. I'm pretty sure it will, though. I'm pretty sure I diagnosed and found that problem. Okay, let's see if it sounds like it's on all 8 cylinders now. Yeah, that mist is gone. It was like nope. See what it sounds like out the back. Oh yeah. A consistent combustion. This is. Here's the test though. We will pull the #1 plug wire again and see if the engine drops in RPM. It did. Oh, we got on this back. Look, do it. See the wiggles of the jiggles? All right. Oh, see, there it goes. Listen. Yep. We are, in fact, muscle car 8-cylinder, no longer 7. We are going to need something though. It's either going to be the alternator making all that noise, which the alternator's not charging right now. I've already tested the voltage regulator, so, but let me listen. I think our alternator is the one making all that racket. But if you listen out back, it's just nice muscle car. Yeah. Yeah, you probably heard that tickety tick tick noise after I got done revving it up, and I was sitting there thinking, shit, did I just blow this mofo up? No, actually I didn't. It kind of the same. Look at that, see? Tick 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 tick. The we got another bent push rod. I'm thinking that push rod was slightly bent when we had it, when it first fired. And when I revved it up, it just kind of finished it off. That's my theory anyway. So I'm going to do the same process as I did on the other side. Put another push rod in it, another straight one, and fire it up again. I'm going to be a little bit nicer on the RPM though, just a little bit this time. Okay, baby, I get it. I get it. I'll be a little nicer to you. It's all put back together. You know, just I want to hear all 8 cylinders, no ticking, no clattering. Come on. I'll be nice to you, you be nice to me. I mean, you're running again. I don't hear any clickety clattery. It's just running a little rough because it's cold. Oh yeah, back here purring like a kitty. It is a little cold outside. See, I can do the same thing as the car. It's got that nice muscly car sound, old school. All that horsepower is just steaming out. It's all running nice and smooth. This thing's gonna be a good cruiser. Thermostat hasn't quite opened up yet. That's just oil that I spilt on the manifold over there. What is happening? It is the next day, in fact. I can tell it's sunny. I don't have that many lights here. So after yesterday's snafu with push rods that are banana shaped and fixing it and feeling all victorious in my triumph of diagnosis, yeah, that happened. Like massive oil puddle under the car. It was because when I was putting the valve cover back on, didn't catch it that the valve cover had actually split because, you know, it's just dry rot. And so while it was sitting there running, as you saw, all quiet, smooth, running, efficient, it was just continuously dripping oil out the bottom of the car through the valve cover. That's why there was smoke on the header. I thought maybe I had just put a couple drops on the header. No, it was just stream of oil that was just constantly getting poured on the headers. So new valve cover gaskets. Also, if you remember me saying that alternator was making all kinds of noise, I didn't just magically go poof, alternator be gone. I went down to my local Napa and I got another one. So this one, actually, listen to this. It's all quiet. The other one, when you did that, it was all so it had to be replaced. So we're gonna go ahead, replace the valve cover, replace the alternator, and working on the rear brakes, going to doctor these up to get them all nice and shiny, spiffy looking, like, check it out, Nolan had done painted up the original heavy duty 3-inch drum brakes. So being this is an RT package, it would already come with the heavy duty brakes. If you didn't pay for the upgrade for disc brakes, you got the heavy duty red drum brake package. So these have the 3-inch shoes on them. These are actually really good drums. They're also just really heavy. So gonna be doing a disc brake upgrade later. Funny thing about this though, is it this one? Yes. So obviously this one has had some sparkage with the pavement at one point because there's a flat spot in the drum. So you know the balancing on that is equivalent to a tractor. So we'll probably be keeping this one under 200 miles an hour with those rear drums. Okay, I think I got you all caught up. Let's start throwing some parts at this thing. New alternator, valve cover gasket replaced. Let's go ahead and hook the battery back up and see if it actually charges, doesn't make all the bearing grindy noises, and doesn't leak oil, and still runs on 8 cylinders. Key on. Yeah. All right. We'll give her the old pumpy action and fire in the hole. That is way quieter. It does not make the loud groundy bearing noise. It's just a little cold right now. Probably about ready to run out of gas too, because I see steam coming out of here, which usually that means we are sucking. Oh yeah, that's our 1 gallon fuel system is empty, and considering I probably only put about 2 quarts in it before, so we're gonna go ahead and put some more go juice in that and fire it back up. Tell you what, 440 cubes of RT 375 horsepower is definitely more thirsty than the Slant 6 Demon I've got. Haha, we are actually in the charging. See, I know the amp meter works if I turn on the headlights. Boom, discharging, charging. Functional. We now have 3 functional gauges. We need to get that fuel gauge to work, and I think I have just the thing to fix it, as long as our gas tank is usable. I have a new, come on, sending unit. Man, this thing is just running so smooth. No leaks. Smooth running. Now that, I will say, was my fault on oil all over the manifold, which it's now burning it all off. But check it out. Yeah, 1971. It's like going back in time and listening to what an original engine and original exhaust would sound like. Just admire it. If you were Just think if you were at a traffic light or in a parking lot and this thing was right there. That's what 375 horsepower of RT Fury sounded like. I'm curious. I wonder how much of vacuum this engine has, because I know what my cars have. All right, now we're gonna do this vacuum test. Keep in mind, this thing has 90,000 miles on it. So let's see what our vacuum is. Fire in the hole. Well, we're in the green. We're about 17.5 inches. See, and the engine's not even up to full temperature yet. So when this thing gets up to full temperature, I bet you it'll be 18, maybe 18.5. But still sounding all nice and smooth, like. Oh yeah, we're almost at 18 now. Let's see if we can yeah, I pretty much already had it good by ear. Either direction made it drop. But still, that's pretty good. I would say our engine is nice and healthy. Still just admiring the factory exhaust sound. It almost makes it sound like it's got a 440 Magnum. Yeah, we got the original air cleaner, tracked one down, bought it with the Pilot. So we got, I mean, how much better does that look with the correct red painted drums and the correct Magnum air cleaner? Just sounds big and gnarly. Magnum. Sounds a lot better on all 8 cylinders, huh?
Yeah. Sounds nice.
Yeah. Bring back some memories, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, Nolan is back, obviously. We may even get to drive this thing, depending on how bad that gas tank is. But listen to the thing just purr. I mean, feel it. Nice and smooth. Go ahead and shut her off. So you're saying you actually had the original air cleaner, just got misplaced in storage or something?
Nah, it was in a room that wasn't secure, and it just disappeared.
Oh, someone walked off with it.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, we have now acquired a correct air cleaner for it.
Yeah.
Well, it is a good thing I got all new wheel cylinders, because these wheel cylinders were shot in the back. That is why the master cylinder El No Worko. See, liquid is not supposed to run out of the sides. Don't you hate it when they change the hardware size on you? Original hardware, replacement wheel cylinder. No fit. I just hope it's not metric. I don't want any inferior metric hardware on my car. I just realized you said earlier that you never put brakes on this car, right? Nope. And I found a receipt under the carpet that was from a brake job on the rear from 1973. Yeah. And these brakes back here are great looking. So you were either a really light on the brake pedal, or you didn't do too many standing burnouts.
Oh, never. Didn't want to break anything.
Didn't want to break anything.
I have to fix it.
That's true. If you break it, you have to fix it. And here's the part I've kind of been avoiding a little bit, but after looking into it, this is way easier than a second gen on dropping the gas tank. You don't have to deal with the filler tube that goes through the quarter panel. It's a short little filler tube that goes straight in the back, right there. And also, the J-nuts that actually hold the clamps to the gas tank, that hold it to the body, the straps, they put the J-nuts on the back side. So you no longer have to crawl all the way under the car and have everything fall on you as you're trying to get the J-nuts loose. Genius. Why didn't they do this on the second gens? I'm thinking there might be some in here. I don't know if you can call it gas anymore, but it's got some weight to it. Ooh, stinks in there. Ugh. That's not a good sign. That means that that gas tank is most likely garbage. Yep. I'm afraid this looks like the Titanic in there. This is not savable. Yeah, wife's definitely going to make me change clothes and shower after pulling that gas tank, because anytime you have them old turpentine gas tanks and that smell, it just like sticks to you and you just stink all day. Get him, Bolt. But as I was kind of cleaning up the mess, Nolan started telling me a story that he didn't tell me before. That this car was basically legally stolen from you.
Yeah.
Con artists.
Yeah.
You were living at the apartment complex, and a city worker that was driving through there basically
one of the council members.
Oh, council member.
Yeah, a group of them, and they said, well, this car could be stolen, and they conned the maintenance guy, which is minimum wage, and you know he's going to bow to authority. Said, well, it could be stolen. It needs to be towed. So it was sitting in my designated space, but I was on home vacation for a week. When I get back, the car's gone, so I called to check to see where it is. And they said, no, it wasn't stolen. It was towed. So I went to the towing yard, and in about a week, it was $1,000 to get it out. And it had been parked for going in a week. It was buried back behind a bunch of other cars, so they had to move them all to get it out, but I paid $1,000. I could have sued the maintenance guy, but he's a minimum wage. He was a real nice person. I liked him before that, and didn't bother me after that. He just got conned.
Yeah, so they were...
And the council member,
yeah,
is a family member of the towing company.
So you had the council member that... He basically wanted your car.
Yeah.
And so he weaseled his way through the maintenance guy and the towing yard, which was a family member, saying this car is abandoned, it's neglected, even though it was in your designated spot that you paid for.
Or it could be stolen.
Or it could be stolen, even though it was in your name, registration, everything. Mm-hmm. And so they towed it out of his designated spot and buried it in the towing yard. When they do that, they plan on keeping it. And so, yeah, this thing almost got stolen from you when you were living in the apartment complex, years ago. And $1,000, let's just, what rough era was that? 90s or 2000s?
Probably the 90s, yeah.
So yeah, $1,000 in the 90s
for a week.
For a week. They I bet you the bill wasn't really $1,000. I think they said $1,000 so you wouldn't take it out of there.
Yeah.
but you wanted your car, and unfortunately you had to pay the $1,000 because in let's just say 1992-3, this was non-running and driving, and at that time this car was probably only worth $1,000. At that time, it might have been worth $2,000. So they were just trying to legally snatch that car from you. Crooked guys they are. But you really loved the car and you got it back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you got robbed. Well, I am glad that you got the car back because now I have it.
Yeah. Yep. It was a rainy day in hell before I give it up.
Yep. Perfecto.
You'll even hear that.
I was actually going to shortcut this whole bench bleeding thing and just use my finger to plug the hole, lift, plug, lift, because it would have been much faster. But then Nolan was like, I have these things that you hook up there and it has hoses. And I'm like, yeah, I have those too. Okay, I'll get them out.
Down.
So, yep, we're going to go ahead and bench bleed it, get all the bubbles out of the master cylinder. Down.
Slow.
Yep, there it goes, getting bubbles out. Up. Yep, just keep this slow up and down constantly. And it'll slowly work all the air out. Are you comfy in there, Nolan? Can I get you anything? Pillow, peanuts?
I'm okay.
Yeah, you're good?
I'm mellow.
Okay. Are you still awake in there?
Yeah.
Alright, down.
Okay. Slow.
It's just normal.
Down.
Up.
Up.
Okay, down.
Down.
Up. I'm getting fluid.
Up.
Up. Well, our brake bleeding was cut short. Brand new wheel cylinder. Blew out. No words. How's the pedal feel?
Great.
So actually, I was able to take the blown wheel cylinder apart. They had put one of the seals inside the wheel cylinder backwards, and so anytime pressure was applied, it just blew past the seal. So took it apart, flipped the seal around, put the wheel cylinder back together, and we have the entire car bled. You want to see if the power brake booster actually works?
Yeah.
Fire this thing up. One pump on the throttle and hit the key. Oh, room. How does the power brake pedal feel?
About 2 inches. Quite normal.
But it feels like it did back in the day with power brakes?
Oh, I don't know.
Feels correct.
Yeah.
All right. You feel good back in that
You crazy old man again.
And just like that, it's the next day. I think you can tell just a little bit. Nolan's getting pretty excited to get ready to drive this thing. And we're almost there. You saw the gas tank was completely foobarred. There's no saving that gas tank. It's completely junk. But we are going to drive it today. I'm thinking just putting a gas can in the trunk, and I already found someone had already made a hole through one of the trunk plugs, body plugs, right there. So we're just going to put a gas can right there with a hole going through, with the hose going through that to the original hard line, blow that hard line out, and to our fuel pump. That is going to get us on the road today. The brakes are bled. We can go ahead and bolt the wheels back on, and I think we're going to keep these tires like under 55 miles an hour because they're pretty old, predated tires. So we're going to keep those down low. We're going to get the seats in it today. One thing I had just done was finally flushed the cooling system, and this is actually the third time I've had to pull this. You can see all the garbage in there. So I'm going to clean this out one more time, bolt it back on, because the more trash we can keep in this and out of plugging the radiator, the better off we're going to be. Got my NASCAR spec fuel system installed. I'm gonna go ahead and blow out the old hardline. So just fill this thing up with gas and pressurize it. And hopefully it blows all the nasty shit out the other end. Today it is driving, and of course Nolan's not going to miss this opportunity to drive his old car, so he showed up. I've got Nolan. He's going to dye the threads on the original seats. Well, not original to the car, but original 71 Charger seats, so we can go ahead and get those bolted back in. I'm going to put the wheels on. The fuel system is all tucked up and installed and done. You know, my race fuel system. And we're going to get this thing on the ground, and I think we should be able to, after getting the seats in on the ground, actually take it for a spin. Well, hopefully this time you won't have to fake the vroom vroom sounds. You can actually do it with your foot. You know what? Peter that I got these seats from may not be off the hook after all. Check it out. There is a piece of a build sheet, and all I can really see is the engine, which is E86, which means these are original RT Charger 71 seats from a green car, Nolan. No. So these, in fact, could be the original seats. Ugh. Too bad. Oh, there's more remnants of it. There's more pieces of build sheet in here, but not enough to really tell us the full story. Maybe there's enough of a VIN number on there that we can tie it to the guilty suspect. Ah, shit, this thing is so brittle. But that right there is vehicle number, and I can't take it out of there. I cannot remove that, because if I try to, it's literally just gonna break apart in pieces. It's so brittle.
Do your phone and do it in large.
Yeah. So, but there is a piece of the ID VIN number on there. Let's go ahead and see. We got, here's the lights. See, it says lights right there. There's other pieces. Dang it. Well, I'm gonna grab my phone, take some pictures so we at least have some history of that. Well, I breathed on that build sheet, and it just basically turned to dust. And the only numbers I could see of the serial number was actually a 192, and that's all that was visible. But as soon as I tried to peel it apart or peel it out of the seat, it just deteriorated and broke apart into pieces. So, although I came over here and looked at the VIN number, there is a 1, a 9, and a 2 in the VIN. So it is possible that those seats were original to this car, but then there's also 2 digits behind that and 1 digit in front of that that takes it out of the realm. So, but there is a pretty good chance these were the original seats that belonged to this car. That's just crazy to think of, that 40 years later, the original seats could have ended up back into the original car. So you said you probably didn't put 1,000 miles on these tires?
Yeah.
Ugh. You think we can go down to Ted Weens and get them warranted and say they got some cracks in them?
Hell no.
So let's go ahead and put your possibly original seats back in the car, which is still kind of unbelievable, but potentially possible. And these were out of a wrecked 71 RT. Well, the seat frame's a little twisted because it was in that wrecked car, so it's going to be a little tricky. I'll have to repair that later. I'm thinking just weld something and go around it and then just bend it back. See how it's a little cockeyed? Mm. If you want to try and push, I'll try and pull. There it goes. Okay. It's in. What? It went in. Yeah, they go in a lot easier when it's not wrecked. You hand me those nuts up there? All right. So we were just topping off the transmission fluid real quick, just double checking it. I knew it was a little low, but we just wanted to get it up there. Something else, let me show you, is pretty cool, that is specific to this generation of Charger. The slapstick automatic. Watch this. Wah, bah, bah. Yeah. Oh, forgot. The wheels are rolling. All right, let's put some air in the tires, put something over these seats, and get her on the ground. Here, you want to clean that passenger glass?
Yeah.
No, the passenger door glass.
It's not there. Ooh, cool. Oh.
Little tighter than you remember?
Yeah.
You remember how to do this, old girl? Yeah! Wanna! Alright, enough showing off. What do you think we go for a spin? There goes more glass. Well, let's go for a cruise around the neighborhood. Again, first time this car has moved since 1987.
Okay.
Yep, you're good. Couldn't resist, huh? Right away. We'll have to fix that floppy mirror.
Yeah.
I think your tires are kind of like Canadian tires. They're a little square.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, these tires are not the greatest. You know, I'm actually kind of digging the factory exhaust. It's actually nice and quiet and mellow. We can have full conversations in this thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not everything has to be super loud. We'll make it right here. Yeah, it's basically a circle track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put a tall gear in this thing and just make it a cruiser, nice quiet cruiser. tires are starting to round out a little bit. A little. Either that or you're just going faster. So did you ever think you'd get to drive this thing again?
No, I didn't.
Well, I'm really glad you got to take it for another spin.
Yeah.
And once I get her fixed up better, we'll go for better rides. Yeah. How's the brakes?
Yeah, I think they're okay.
Yeah. Probably could use some adjustment.
Yeah.
Because they are drum brakes. These are original drums. I didn't even adjust the drums. We just kind of, I was like, ah, they're close enough. But considering the whole car rides like...
Well, your turn.
All right, Nolan, it's my turn.
Yep.
Let's go get some drinks.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, I have a 71 RT Charger.
Yeah.
Well, now I have two, but the other one is nowhere near as good as this one. So this is my first time actually driving like a good street quality 71 RT. It's just so quiet.
Yeah, kinda. You can try to slapstick.
Yeah, it's so smooth just sitting here idling. It's probably idling at like 600 RPM. That slapstick is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
annoying.
useless. Holy crap, that camera is shaking like crazy on the hood. I like that. It's so quiet in here, I have to make the engine noises. Yeah, I wish I had that shifter in my Charger.
Probably because the tires are old, it used to chirp the tires
Oh yeah.
pretty easy.
Oh, you know what? I don't have my wallet on me.
No, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Got a little bit of tire chirp out of it. Oh, the tires are sketchy. Ooh, we're gonna get front row. Yeah, the shifting just needs to be adjustable. The reverse is like in between two gears.
Yeah, I couldn't believe somebody stole the damn shift linkage.
Right? Check it out. First time this car has been to Sonic ever. Did they have Sonics in the, back then?
Yeah, I think they did.
Really? Did you ever bring this car to a Sonic?
Nah.
Well, then it's still its first time ever coming to Sonic.
This is only the second or third time I've ever been at Sonic.
Really?
Yeah.
And I suckered him into buying food. I did the whole forgot my wallet trick.
Nah. Don't worry about it. Oh, you go in now?
No, we'll just sit up with the bench and admire the car.
Okay.
See, I'm probably enjoying the moment just as much as you are. Just getting to sit back and admire your old hot rod. It's so cool. Oh, we got a little bit of a leaker, I see. Let me go see what that is. Well, your stories about letting it sit and leaking transmission fluid still is current.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably like a little hairline crack or fracture in that transmission line, because where it's leaking, there's no fittings or nothing there. So where it's leaking right there, there's no fittings, there's no nothing. So there's either a crack in the line, or maybe someone had spliced in a rubber hose connector. I don't know, I'll have to take a better look at it. But right now, I'm just going to enjoy the moment.
Sometimes I sit and think about if I'll ever figure out what it is I'm meant to do, or if I'm merely passing through. 'Cause there's times I get the feeling that I've seen this all before, and it's hard to tell the difference in what's real anymore. And this bottle doesn't help, but it sure does numb the pain. The more things change, the more they stay the same. 'Cause I've been wrong and I've been right, but when all you get is getting by, makes you start to question when they say you get out what you put in. There's times I get the feeling that I've seen this all before, and it's hard to tell the difference in what's real anymore. And this bottle doesn't help, but it sure does numb the pain. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Little tuning on that carburetor, it'll be perfect. Hey,
Enjoy.
I really appreciate it. I had fun working with you too. It was good. You see that smile on your face again when you're driving this thing?
Yeah.
Don't worry. When we get it all spruced up again, you'll have to come over and check it out.
Yeah.
Get the fatties on it. Get it. Do you want to come over and help buff it out?
What are you gonna do?
We're gonna try and buff that paint out. Paint the top, paint the hood, put the wing on it, the chin spoiler. We're gonna get it all stylish. Get all 70s out.
All right, practice those too.
Yeah. So you may even see Nolan again. All right.
Yeah, let me know.
It's been fun.
Have fun. Yeah, you too.
Now get the hell out of here.
Merry Christmas.
I'm just kidding.
Bye-bye.
All right, Nolan, I'll see you later.